Hi, this is Mr. Ward, and this is the Algebra Do Now key for if you're B block 36.1, A block 36.2, and D block 36.3. This will be the video key for that. So we have a right triangle, and hopefully you have heard of the Pythagorean Theorem. If not, it's that the square of this side plus the square root of this side will equal the square of this side. So if we square this side and we square this side, those two squares added together will equal the square of this side. So how can we set up an equation along those lines? So all we have to do is square each part. So there's going to be x squared. I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, so we're going to have x squared. Let me actually back up. So there's the a squared plus b squared equals c squared Pythagorean Theorem formula. So we can pick whichever one of these we want to be a. I'm going to pick just x, so x squared. And then here I've got to square x plus 2. And then for c, I've got to square x plus 4. And now I've got a setup for that. And that will get me where I want to go. Now you're going to need the quadratic formula for some of this, but we hopefully got this, and it can be expanded into x squared plus, so there's the x squared. Okay, and I'll show you how that works. So actually I can't do that on there, but I'll do it on the next line. So just so you can see how that happened, x squared, and then this here becomes x squared plus 4x plus 4. That's a perfect square structure. And this here becomes x squared plus 8x plus 16. And now we've got all this quadratic stuff, and we can reorganize it. So we're going to reorganize this into the standard form. And the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So I need one side of this to be 0. And I need to combine all my like terms. So first I'll combine x squared and x squared. That's 2x squared. And then I'll have 4x and I'll have 4. And that equals this stuff, x squared plus 8x plus 16. And now I'm going to subtract all the stuff that is here on the right side from both sides. So I'm going to say all of this. I'm going to subtract x squared, I'm going to subtract 8x, and I'm going to subtract 16. I'm going to do that from both sides. Okay, so when I do that, the right side becomes 0. All of that just becomes 0. The left side, I've got to clean this up. All right, so I can only combine like terms. So I've got x squared minus x squared. So I'm going to take that away from 2x squared. So that's just going to become x squared. And then I'm going to take away 8x from 4x, which is going to become negative 4x. Then I'm going to take 16 away from 4, and 4 minus 16 is negative 12. And now we can use the quadratic formula to solve this. And so let's look at that. So I should have this equation. We're going to go right into Desmos and use the quadratic formula. Let me make that bigger. Okay, so we've got x squared minus 4x minus 12. So let's think about what a, b, and c are. B is negative 4, so negative 4. A is 1. We don't really have to write it if it is. C is negative 12. And once again, A is 1. So let's deal with the stuff in the radical. Actually, let's deal with a couple other things first. So let's deal with minus 4. That becomes plus. Let's deal with 2 times 1. That's just 2. And now let's clean up what's inside here. The square of negative 4 is positive 16, because that's negative 4 times negative 4. 4 times 1 is just 4. And 4 times negative 12 is negative 48, which means we are adding here, and 16 plus 48 is 64. And that's useful because I can get the square root of 64. The square root of 64 is going to be 8 and negative 8. And now I just tidy all that up. That's 12 up there in the numerator. 12 over 2 is 6. So that's one of my solutions. And 4 minus 8 is going to be negative 4. Negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. So what that means for me is that I've got one option where I've got a side of the triangle that's 6 and another where the side of the triangle is negative 2. So we're going to, so our solutions are 6 and negative 2. Well, you're not going to have a negative side to generally most triangles. There are probably some exceptions out there in algebraic geometry, but you're not going to have a negative side here. So we're going to use 6. So this side will be 6. This side will be 6 plus 2, or 8. This side will be 6 plus 4, because x is 6, so that will be 10. And if you're familiar with Pythagorean triples, this is one of the classic members of a Pythagorean triple family. That's the 3, 4, 5 triangle. Just doubles 3, double 4, double 5, and it's a 6, 8, 10 triangle. And 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. And 10 squared is 100. And according to the Pythagorean theorem, this plus this has to equal that for it to be a right triangle, and 36 plus 64 does equal 100. Check. All right. I hope that was helpful. And this was, in fact, one of the types of problems that is in quadratics level 17.